There are people in this world who carry a strange weight inside them, a weight they don't remember picking up, a weight they were never prepared to carry. They are not old, at least not on paper. Their age says one thing, but their eyes tell a different story. These are the people who feel older than their age. If you are one of them, you already know this truth. Life didn't happen to you slowly. It didn't unfold gently. It arrived all at once. It demanded too much, too early, too fast. And while others were growing up, you were growing through responsibilities you didn't choose, growing through emotions you didn't understand, growing through losses you didn't expect, growing through situations you should never have faced alone. By the time the world expected you to begin your life, you already felt like you had lived several. You learned early that silence can be a survival skill. You learned early that pretending you're fine is easier than explaining why you're not. You learned early that people expect strength from those who show it once. And you learned early that when you mature too fast, nobody asks if you're tired. People who feel older than their age walk with a different kind of awareness. They see things before others do. They recognize danger before it arrives. They sense the mood of a room within seconds. They read faces like open books, not because they're gifted, but because life forced them to pay attention. They became observers long before they became adults. Thus, people often appear calm on the outside, but inside, they're carrying old memories like fragile glass. Memories that still glow softly in the dark. Memories that shape them without permission. They have conversations in their mind long before they speak aloud. They replay past moments, as if searching for details they missed. They think deeply, love carefully, and break quietly. People like this often struggle with feeling young in the way others seem to be. They don't understand how people their age float through life with light hearts. They don't understand how others can ignore consequences, or live carelessly, or trust easily they want to. Part of them wishes they could. But you cannot unsee what shaped you. You cannot unknow the things that carved you into who you became. You cannot walk lightly when your steps were trained by storms. People who feel older than their age often grew up in environments where emotional safety was rare. Maybe they were the child who raised themselves. Maybe they were the sibling who became the parent. Maybe they were the listener for adults who didn't know how to handle their own pain. Maybe they were the quiet one who understood more than anyone realized. They're used to being dependable. They're used to being strong. They're used to being the one who figures it out. And for that reason, they often forget something tragic and simple. They were never meant to be this old, this soon. There is also a strange kind of loneliness that follows people who mature early. A loneliness that comes from feeling out of place. Not because they're socially distant, but because they cannot connect to the same things others do. They don't enjoy shallow conversations. They don't find comfort in distraction. They don't feel alive in chaos. They crave something deeper. A connection with meaning, a conversation with honesty, a life with purpose. They're not impressed by appearances. They're not moved by trends. They're not convinced by empty promises. They're drawn toward truth, humility, and consistency. They want relationships where two souls recognize each other, not performances where two people pretend. People who feel older than their age often carry emotional wisdom that took years to develop. But they developed it in childhood. They learn that people are unpredictable. They learn that love is not always gentle. They learn that trust must be given slowly. And they learn that the world can be both beautiful and cruel. This wisdom makes them compassionate, but it also makes them guarded. They give good advice, but rarely ask for any. They understand others but feel misunderstood. They are patient with other people's pain, but impatient with their own healing. Inside them, there's a part still waiting for someone to finally say, "It's okay to rest now. You don't have to carry everything." People who feel older than their age also have a different relationship with time. Their memories feel heavier. Their regrets feel sharper. Their joys feel fragile. Their past feels close, as if it happened yesterday, and yet their future feels distant, as if they're watching it from far away. It's because when you live in survival mode, time doesn't pass the same way. You live moment to moment, crisis to crisis, responsibility to responsibility. Your mind grows older, but your heart never gets the chance to catch up. There is something else, too. People who feel older than their age often feel tired, even when they've done nothing. This is not laziness. This is not lack of motivation. This is emotional exhaustion accumulated over years. The kind of exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. The kind that grows quietly in the mind and body. But here is something rarely spoken. This type of person also carries extraordinary strength. The kind of strength that comes from surviving storms that others never knew existed. The kind of strength that comes from rebuilding yourself silently. The kind of strength that comes from understanding that life doesn't break the weak. It breaks the strong to teach them how to rebuild life itself. People who feel older than their age possess depth, a depth that others rely on, a depth that draws people in, a depth that makes them extraordinary, but depth can be heavy when carried alone. So if you are someone who feels older than your age, this message is for you. You are not broken. You are not strange. You are not behind. You are not failing at life. You are simply someone who lived too much, too soon. And that maturity you carry, that emotional intelligence, that awareness, that empathy, that insight, none of it is accidental. It is the result of a mind that had to grow long before the body did. There is beauty in you, a rare kind, the kind that cannot be taught, the kind that comes from surviving what others never knew existed. But you deserve something too, a chapter where you are allowed to be young, a chapter where you can rest, a chapter where you don't have to hold everything together, a chapter where your softness is not a weakness, but a proof of your strength. You deserve relationships that feel safe. You deserve people who don't add weight to your heart. You deserve conversations that don't drain you. You deserve a life that feels yours. And perhaps the most important truth of all, you are not as old as the world made you feel. There's a younger you still inside, still waiting to breathe, to laugh, to trust, to live. And one day, you will meet them again.